Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Today I'll be continuing What If Naruto Had the Shield from Rising of the Shield Hero. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Almost forgot to tell you to leave a like. Anyway, so Naruto wakes up and he wakes up to a knock on the door. A very stern knock, which is weird because anyone that messes with Naruto knows that he don't like when people knock on his door really hard. Gives him weird vibes. So he opens the door and he sees like it's this Anbu member, and that's strange because he doesn't know this Anbu member. Like he kind of at this point he can kind of somewhat tell the difference between different Anbu members, like where they come from, what type of branch they are, based upon what mask they're wearing or something like that. But he doesn't know this one at all, and the Anbu member doesn't say anything. He gives him a note and then he just disappears, and like Naruto. He opens it and he sees like it's a message from the Hokage telling him like to come to this location. This is not a drill. Like, you need to get here now. So Naruto gets his little group of like friends and he starts asking them, like he picks them up one by one. First is Hinata, of course, because he technically lives with her. Then it's Sasuke, then Shikamaru. But Shikamaru at this time, like he already knew what was going on kinda. So when Naruto goes to Shikamaru's house, Shikamaru's basically waiting outside for him, like, because Shikamaru's note was basically said that like he just had to wait for Naruto, because they know that Shikamaru wasn't gonna go out and find them. But anyway, so when they get Naruto and all of his friends into this location, Hiruzen tells them like they're gonna go to war with the Mist and Cloud Village. And Naruto was like, what does this have to do with us? We're just kids. And like everybody not trying to agree with Naruto, but like they agree with him as in a sense of they're afraid to go to war. So when Naruto says this, a lot of the kids like this, like, yeah, we're just kids. And Shikamaru kind of like tells Naruto, like, come on, Naruto, I know you're like he starts saying, I know you're smarter than that, Naruto. We all graduated the academy. As of right now, we are actual shinobi. They assign us missions. This is what we have to do now. If we're at war, we have to do wartime missions. There are no, we're just kids. We're shinobi. It's what we do, child or not. We signed up. And Naruto kind of like looks at Shikamaru and was like, oh, I tried. And the kids behind him were like, wait, so you're not gonna like keep trying to push this? And Naruto looks behind him and was like, majority of y'all don't like me and are good, like in the sense of being just decent shinobi. In the long term, majority of y'all might not even make it, and I think that's what you're afraid of. So you want the person that's somewhat stronger and carries more weight, just slightly, but carries more weight, to defend you all? No. Not after the school year that we had. No. Or academy year that we had. And so after Naruto says this, Hiruzen kind of like cuts him off and he's like, okay, so like there won't be any more of that. And he tells him like, anyway, we're gonna start assigning y'all missions. And they start putting Naruto's squad along like the borders of the Leaf Village, somewhat spreading them apart, but allowing them to see each other like once in a while. Like they patrol, so every once in a while they'll skip past each other. Like they'll skip past each other through their routes. But that's not like intentional. It was literally a coincidence. Between like Hiruzen didn't care if they saw each other or not. They just need to be with their squad. So Hiruzen, like he starts telling them, since we're at war, if you abandon your post or do anything that we didn't tell you to do, there will be literal consequences. Like, you won't be tried as a child, you'll be tried as an adult, as a shinobi, no less. And like Shikamaru basically, like, he's thinking like, so this is serious. Like, we're really finna go to war. He's like, maybe I can prove myself to be more of a strategic type person. And before he can even say anything, Hiruzen tells him like, Shikamaru, you're gonna be staying here, and you're gonna be talking with me. And some like Kiba and Choji didn't think that was fair, and they kind of like, no, because Naruto had a fairly like a decent Naruto, Hinata, and Sasuke had a patrol route going somewhat back through the Leaf Village. So they were like around, so they covered one half and then went back through the Leaf Village. So they combed through like a piece of forest every once and again. But it took them like a whole 3 days. It took them like a whole 2 weeks just to do it. So it's not like they were going back to Leaf Village constantly. That's just the way that they had their patrol going. So it was just the trader route that they were trying to keep open or protect. Anyway, so when they started speaking up about it, like they're like, that's not fair. You know, Naruto and them, they get a trade route that comes back to the Leaf Village so they can get a little bit of rest. All of us are stuck out on the perimeter. And like Hiruzen, as he's hearing this, he lets Kiba and Choji finish. So they continue to go on how they think that Naruto's like group gets shown favoritism. And like Hiruzen stops and he sighs a bit and he's like, I promise, I said there wasn't going to be any more of that. And he's like, okay, so let me put it in terms y'all can understand, because clearly I forgot I was working with children. And like this kind of shocks everybody, because now like Hiruzen's giving off like a completely different aura. Like at first he was giving, you know, military stern guy. Now he's giving off like, I'm tired of telling y'all what's gonna happen. I'm just sick of it. So he starts telling them like, yeah, Naruto group gets shown favoritism. Why? Because Naruto's the Jinchuriki. You know what that means, right? It means that if he gets angry, when that seal weakens, he can, you know, lash out. Nine Tails energy everywhere. Y'all know what that's like. Everyone's seen the report. Everyone knows what that thing inside Naruto can do. We made sure of that. So why must you all continuously contest me? Like, every step of the way, there's always been some type of reasoning behind how you think I'm showing favoritism to Naruto when you clearly see that I have to, or there would be no Leaf Village remaining. Naruto is also friends with one of the last remaining Uchihas and the princess of the Hyuga clan, which are also two other very good assets. So of course, I'm not going to put them out on the front lines immediately. And like the kids, like they're like, so he was showing favoritism to Naruto so the Leaf Village could stay alive, like could stay around. But like these other two reasons, like Sasuke and Hinata, no, they get it, but they're still not trying to hear that with Naruto. So they're still kind of like on the fence. But like Hiruzen just tells them like he's not going to like keep explaining this to them. Go to your posts, or you know, get kicked out of the Leaf, get kicked out of the Leaf military and end up, you know, forsaking your family, like putting that rep on your family, like you quit because you were scared to go to war. Like now that's on your family's reputation. And a few people do quit, not anybody of note. A few people do quit, but yeah. So Naruto and them, a few more days passed, and the formal declaration ended up working. So they're now at war between the mist and the cloud. Also, they're getting aid from the sand and the stone, because they actually kind of mess with the Leaf Village. So on Naruto's trade route, like the first couple of days, when they all start like heading out to where they need to be, when they get to like the first border, they see like this decently sized cloud force, like just a few miles down like into this field. And like Naruto's thinking like right now they could be trying to like come here. And Kakashi tells him like, yo, this that's not our border, so we're not going over there. And Sasuke was like, why not? We're already at war. And like Kakashi tells him, this is you guys are gonna it's a lot that you guys are gonna need to learn about war. And Hinata tells him like, yeah, yo, that's not such a good idea. And Sasuke and Naruto turn to look at Hinata and was like, what do you mean? And Hinata, like, she has her Byakugan activated because that was one of the reasons why she were on their team and why they only patrolled a specific part. Because where they patrolled was a specific way to get, it was like a shortcut to get to the cloud, to the mist, and it was in between the stone village, so it was like a small little valley. And Naruto's group was sent there because Hinata's Byakugan is somewhat advanced in this sense. And Neji is also sent in that same said patrol route just to keep an eye on them. So, you know, they have the occasional sensory ninja walking through there. So, like, she tells them, like, they're, like, 1,500 more back behind this 200 small troop. So, Kakashi tells him, like, so in total, that's 1,700 men. Like, we can probably take out a few, but there's no guarantee that Naruto, you're going to be able to, you know, control the Nine Tails, because eventually that's what it's going to come down to. Because we have chakra and we're strong, but we're not, you know, limitless. The Nine Tails, on the other hand. And at this point, Kakashi's basically feeding Naruto's head with, you basically have to control the Nine Tails if you want to go out there and, like, just destroy armies for no reason. Well, not for no reason, because we're at war. But Naruto tells him, like, before he could say anything, Kakashi tells him, like, it's time for them to go, that, like, their time is up there. Like, that army. Look, and he's, like, he points off in the direct, like, in the distance. And he sees, like, Kiba and Choji and, yeah, their little team. And Naruto sees them and he's like, oh, let's go before the, you know, the trash gets over here. And Kakashi starts laughing and they, like, kind of start walking off in the other direction. And Choji, like, at this point, Choji and, like, Kiba, he doesn't mess with Choji in the sense anymore, because the way Kiba hates Naruto, it's just in the sense of, oh, you got way too strong, way too fast. Kind of like how, you know, Sasuke hated Naruto in the beginning. Yeah, it's kind of like that including the Nine Tails. Choji hates Naruto in the fact of, like, he just hates his well-being, like, entirely. Like, the opposition in Choji is amazing. So, after, like, Choji sees him, he gets an idea. And he grins a bit. And, you know, Kiba, he notices, like, I'm gonna say they hang around. Kiba hangs around Choji enough to know now that, Choji is kind of, you know, he can have that side to him. So, when Choji sees a group of shinobi out in the distance, he smirks and he starts, like, getting ideas. And we're gonna jump back over to Naruto's perspective. So Naruto and them are, like, patrolling back through the woods, and they ended up seeing, like, a small, like, group of, like, 20 Smith shinobi, fairly decently strong Mist shinobi. I just want to put that out there. And a few, like, other Leaf shinobi just having, like, a decent sized scuffle. Like, there was, I'm gonna say, before Naruto and them got there was, like, 100 Mist shinobi, and, like, I'm gonna say just a few, like, I'm gonna say there was 50 Leaf shinobi that, like, they got caught by patrol, that caught them patrolling, and, you know, sent out a flare. So by the time Naruto and them got there was, like, 20 at max left. So Naruto and them, like, after seeing this decent sized battlefield, like, Hinata, she's never really seen war. Like, none of them have seen war, but Kakashi has. So Kakashi's, like, he's telling them, like, yo, y'all gotta kind of snap out of this, because they're kind of in shock, you know. They haven't seen stuff like this. You know, Naruto carries around that mentality, but he hasn't really, you know. So they end up snapping out of it, because, you know, they are shinobi, so they get, like, right to the fighting area, like, aspects and stuff. And, like, halfway through the fight, Hinata ends up getting, she ends up getting stabbed in her arm, because she ended up, like, having to cover Naruto just for a little bit, because somebody, like, a Mist shinobi from, say, like, a few feet away fired, like, through a couple of shuriken, and she had to, like, get in the way, because they were aiming for Naruto's back, like, his spinal cord type. Like, yeah, it was gonna mess him up if he would, like, if he would have got hit by them. So, like, Naruto, after seeing Hinata, you know, take these shuriken in her arm, you know, he kind of gets mad, and everybody kind of sees it, including Kakashi. And Kakashi, he kind of smirks. It's not like he wants Naruto to, like, lash out Nine Tails' power, but he wants Naruto to just master this type of power, because it gives him, like, body amps, like these speed and strength, you know, your durability, your healing, you know, stuff like that. It gives Naruto that, and he wants to see Naruto advance the strongest way possible. And Kakashi believes that the best way for him to do that is to master the Nine Tails. So he's putting Naruto in these positions. He knew that these people were fighting. So, but he didn't know that Hinata was going to, you know, get shurikened up in her arm. So, like, after Naruto sees that, they see, like, the chakra in his chakra blade kind of turn orange, and, like, he disappears from sight. Like, they seen his eyes turn orange. They seen his chakra blade turn orange. They can feel the Nine Tails energy, but he's gone. And for, like, a brief moment, he comes back into sight, just right in front of one of the Mist shinobi people, and he stab, like he cuts them with the chakra blade. But like instead of it, you know, just being like a clean cut, it burns. And like the dude, like he's on the ground, like you can see it, like it's a decent sized cut in his chest. Like he's gonna die from the cut anyway. But like just the extra added on fact that he's like, you know, in the background and doing a whole bunch of screaming and stuff because it burns. And like now the other mission are kind of like panicking because they don't know what just happened and they still can't find this kid. So like Naruto ended up killing the rest of them, and they end up taking Hinata back to the Leaf Village after wrapping her arm up because she is injured. And Naruto, after like seeing that and knowing that, you know, these people really just don't care that they're kids, so you know, he's just gonna have to get stronger. And this is where I'm gonna end this part off. If y'all enjoyed the video, drop a like. If y'all enjoy my content, please subscribe. Anyway, this has been Shinobi. Peace.